Hello, this is the Captain Paxo, welcoming you back to Paxo's podcast for October of 2018, however you want to say it. Doesn't really matter, does it, at the end of the day? I finally got some notes, so the podcast is finally a bit more organised. Hopefully I'll be able to talk about everything that I want to talk about in a given month, and I won't forget certain topics, and, I'll be able to keep to what's going on. Speaking of topics, though, if you have one yourself that you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments below, and I will absolutely talk about it in the next podcast, because sometimes I might not have so much to talk about. Sometimes. This month has been interesting, to say the least. There's been a lot of progression in Monster Hunter and Warframe that I've acquired, and yeah. Let's get right into things. First of all, I want to be talking about Project Kushala, or the secret project that I'm sort of working on. I've made some milestones, so to speak. I wouldn't call them incredible milestones. It's like I was 99 out of 100 and I made that extra 1, and oh look, now I'm at 100, yeah, milestone 100, even though I only took one step. So in the last podcast, I mentioned that it's going to be a review of a game. It's actually going to be a review of 3 games. It's a trilogy of games, a franchise. So it's going to take 3 times as long to make the review of this franchise as it would for a normal game. Maybe. I don't know. There might not be so much stuff to talk about with this trilogy as opposed to, say, maybe Dark Souls. Hint, hint, it's not Dark Souls that I'm reviewing. But the milestones that I'm talking about that I've made is I finally beat the trilogy because I wanted to play through the 3 games before I started making a script, because I wanted it fresh in my mind. I wanted to know the context of certain lines of dialogue so that I would have a better understanding of it, so that I wouldn't make bad analysis per se. So I finally did that. It was really enjoyable, and I'll definitely be playing through the games again because I need to get some footage for the video that I'll be making eventually. A long time. That's way, way, way in the future video is, but I still need to get a capture card in order to be able to get that footage anyway, and I'll need to play through it again. I don't mind playing through it more times. It'll give me a better understanding of the games, obviously, and it's fun to play. So, that's got a lot to look forward to. But I also finally finished the transcript notes, or the notes that I've been making on the transcripts for the game. So all of the character dialogues, all the cutscenes, all of that, I've been making notes on how the story is. Functionally speaking, that's not the way to say that in terms of quality. I've been breaking down the story and all the lines of dialogue and seeing, like, is this good for the story? Does this make sense? Is this character saying absolute nonsense? Is this character acting like the character that they're meant to be? Are they acting out of character, should I say? Stuff like that. So that's been quite interesting, and hey, finally completed it now, so now I can move on to the actual script. I've finally started the script for the story analysis. Oh, but I've got a long way to go before it's done. I would be surprised if the story analysis for even the first game is going to be done by this time next month. I would be very surprised. I would like it to be, but that's going to be a bit of a push, unfortunately. And that's pretty much what the updates are going to be from this point forward, is I'm working on script stuff. I mean, it might change from I'm working on story script to I'm working on gameplay script, or level design, or visuals, or music, and stuff like that. It's going to be a very big project, but there is a lot of script to go through, per se. And I've only just started. This is like, 5 months in the making, and I'm barely scratching the surface. Oh, man. The idea of it finally releasing, though, does keep me going. It keeps me wanting to do more, because it's like, oh man, it's going to be so good when it's finally done. But I suppose more on that for another time, because there's not really too much to talk about outside of the review itself. It's not like I can just start talking about what I'm going to be talking about in the review, because then that would make the review redundant. I mean, it would be a higher production value, but it would kind of be redundant nonetheless. I don't know. So Monster Hunter. What have I been doing in Monster Hunter, or what am I planning to do in Monster Hunter? Well, I actually bought Monster Hunter World on PC. I didn't think I was going to do it, but it was like, it has 20% off and my PS4's pissing me off, so I'm just going to buy it on PC. I am kind of happy that I did that, though, because with my PC, the load times are instant. They're like 3 seconds long. I can get a sort of consistent 60 FPS. I still need to do some more troubleshooting just to make sure that it is that consistent 60 FPS. I would prefer it didn't drop below 60 ever, but it does, so I need to work some kinks out on the graphics settings and all that. But apart from that, I've been really enjoying playing World again on PC. Just got more things to do. I can actually play through the game, and I'm not trying to acquire everything anymore. That was definitely a mistake that I made on my PS4 account. Is I was like, I want to get everything, but everything is so much, and there's so much useless crap in Monster Hunter World that it's like, don't even bother. Just get the stuff that you want to get. Don't bother with absolutely everything, because you're not going to use everything. There's some stuff that is completely useless. Like, you're probably not going to use the iron bow, the ore bow. You're probably going to use a better bow than that. You're probably not going to use an Anjanath sword and shield. You're probably going to use something a little bit better. You're probably not going to use the Anjanath switch axe. You're probably going to use something a little bit better. You're probably, most likely, almost definitely, not going to use the Dragonbone weapons, because they are crap. They have such low physical damage, but, like, okay elemental damage. It's like, well, you know, sure, the elemental damage is nice, and sure, the sharpness is okay, but the damage is just awful. Why would I ever want to use these weapons? And you're not going to use 80% of the greatswords. You're just going to use Wyvern's Ignition, because it's the best greatsword in the game. And there's no reason to use any of the other greatswords, because that's just the best one. But since I got Monster Hunter World on PC, I managed to get to high rank. I managed to take on the Nergigante again. It's been really good fun. It has to be said. I've been maining Switch Axe, and oh my god, I love the Switch Axe in Monster Hunter World. They got it so right. It's the perfect balance between axe and sword, using one over the other in different situations, being able to morph between them with a lot of fluidity, and not having to really back down. I mean, sometimes you should back down, sometimes you shouldn't be all up in the monster's face, but you can be, and you use the two forms for different... it's nice. More range and mobility and faster attacks on the axe form, but then you've got the file on the sword form, but it's slower and less range and less mobility, sort of thing, you know? It's nice. I really don't like the Switch Axe in Generations Ultimate, because there's barely any reason to use axe form. What point is there in using axe form on the Switch Axe in Generations Ultimate? It's called the Switch Axe. I think in Japanese it's like Switch Blade or something, Switch Sword or something like that. Or maybe it is the Switch Axe. I think that's the Charge Blade I'm talking about. I think that's the Charge Blade. Anyway, but yeah, it's Switch Axe. The axe is quite important. It's very integral to the design of the weapon, yet it's just not really going to use axe form in Generations Ultimate. I just find that a crying shame. If you have a weapon, you're going to want to use the full aspect of that weapon, or else it's just half of a weapon, you know? And that's one of the problems that I have with the gun lance, is you're generally not using the full capability of the gun lance, because Wyvern's Stake is pretty crap, Wyvern's Fire is pretty crap, and depending on the shelling that you're using, you're probably only going to be spamming one combo over and over, as opposed to mixing it up depending on the situation that you're in, like I tend to do with Sword and Shield and Switch Axe, you know? So that just makes me really, really sad, but I'm playing World, so I can enjoy the luxuries that the Switch Axe provides, so yay! And I suppose that brings me to one of the reasons why I've been playing through World on PC more so than on PS4, and it's not just the load times and all of that sort of stuff. That did factor into it, but also because I could record at a higher quality, because I'm thinking of making some more Monster Hunter World videos, but they're going to be very specific, and I'm not too sure how to describe them, so you're going to have to bear with me when I go through this. It's going to be sort of like a boss guide, sort of like the Sultan Sanctuary boss guides that I did 2.5 years ago. Fuck. It's been a while. But only in the sense that I'm going to be making videos on specific monsters rather than the specific weapons. However, I don't plan on there being any voiceover in it. I plan on any sort of commentary to be text-based, and I'm not planning on for there to be that much of that. It's going to be more like a montage of me fighting a monster with every single weapon in the game, and kind of proving that the monster is in fact not bullshit. Because I think if you're a fan of Monster Hunter, then you've probably heard the criticism that some of the monsters are bullshit, or they're blatantly unfair, or nonsense, or something like that. And you know, in the back of your mind, that's not true. These monsters aren't bullshit. There are some times where they get a bit frustrating and you think, okay, that's a bit ridiculous, but they're not unfair. They're very well designed and very well balanced. So I was kind of thinking, I kind of want to disprove this idea that some of these monsters are unfair or bullshit or unbalanced or whatever. And one of the best ways I could do that is by making videos that just show off these monsters are not impossible to defeat. You can get away with a lot when you're fighting them. So I was thinking of fighting the monster with a really crap armor set that gives me barely any benefits at all, barely any skills, and then go at it, 0 carts, or very few carts, or very few hits, or no hits, or something like that. There's some sort of restriction to make it harder for me, so I have to play better in order to defeat the monster. And then also going with a mediocre weapon. A weapon that everybody's going to have access to and everybody can use and that sort of thing. The biggest problem for me when it came to the idea of making boss guys for Monster Hunter World is that depending on the weapon that I would be using, I would have a different strategy to fighting a monster than somebody else. If I'm using a sword and shield and I'm fighting, say, Kirin, that's not really going to be very helpful to someone who's using gun lance or hammer. You know what I mean? So I was thinking I would have to make a boss guide for every monster in the game for every weapon in the game. So that would be like, what, 14 times 30? Like, that's fucking ridiculous. I can't do that. That's way too much time. And to be fair, I'm not even that amazing with some of these weapons. So instead, with this idea, I'm going to be calling it the Hunter versus kind of series. So it would be like the Hunter versus Diablos, or the Hunter versus Kushala Daora, or the Hunter versus Uragan, or something like that, you know? That's the general idea of it. So I was thinking, with the Hunter versus, I could kind of do a quick fire of, this is the general strategy that you use with this weapon when you're fighting the monster, and then it will be the monster in general, you know, strategies that work with any weapon, you know, opportunities for you to heal or get in some damage, its general behavior, its attack patterns, that sort of thing, and showing that you can dodge them with a lot of skill, and showing how you would normally dodge them if maybe you weren't so confident in your evasion, you know? That sort of thing. And I think with a sort of montage aspect to that, where there's like some music playing in the background and some quick fire editing, that sort of thing, then it might be at least entertaining to watch, maybe a little bit humorous to watch as well, try and crack some jokes. Maybe that would be the best way to go about it, as opposed to being like all what would you call it, like lecturing, I suppose, that being all lecturing, like, well, you see, when the monster does this, then you have to do this in order to counter it, and sort of kind of, yeah, lecturing the people watching and boring them half to death, you know. And also being like, these monsters aren't bullshit. If you think they're bullshit, you can fuck off. I don't know, I don't think that would be the best way to start a video. So, in a sense, the Hunter versus series is, well, basically going to be high quality shit posting, which I've never done before. So it'll be interesting to see if I am actually capable of doing that. You never know. We'll give it a go. We'll see how it goes. I've got the full armor set that I want to use in the series. It's basically just full Puke with the Harvester headpiece. Like, I think it's like Harvester Beta or something. Just because it's like, you don't see that all that often. I don't know, maybe being iconic is a good thing. I mean, when you think of the Wiggler head, you think of Hijack, right? So I was like, I have to use something that is unique and people can be like, hey, it's him. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's a marketing thing. I don't guess, I know it's a marketing thing. I'm cunning. I got a cunning plan, me lord. Get 1 million subscribers. On the other hand of Monster Hunter, or the other side of Monster Hunter World, there's Generations Ultimate, which I haven't been playing all that much, because, again, I just don't want to give Nintendo any money for their stupid online service. It frustrates me so much. So I really haven't played it all that much. Even in the single player, I haven't played it all that much. I fought a high rank Nibblesnarf, and I almost lost that quest. I double carted against a Nibblesnarf. Oh my god. I'm embarrassed as a hunter. I really am. I double carted against a Nibblesnarf. Of all things, a Nibblesnarf. What? God. I don't want to fight another Nibblesnarf. I hate that monster. I suppose, again, yeah, that ties back into the Hunter versus. Because for some people, a certain monster is going to be really, really easy, and for other people, it's going to be very, very difficult. Case in point, Diablos. A lot of people have a lot of problems with Diablos. They find it to be a very difficult fight. He has a lot of range, he's very fast, he burrows underground. It can be a bit overwhelming for some players, but me personally, I have never had a problem with Diablos, not even the first time I fought him. I've never had a problem fighting him. I find him extremely predictable. And if you can predict a monster, you can defeat a monster. You know? So, there's that. But then, yeah, that's just a part of Monster Hunter, you know? One hunter's hell is another hunter's hammer fodder. I think that's going to be like the tagline in the Hunterverses. One hunter's hell is another hunter's hammer fodder. Basically, like, yeah, case in point, Diablos, I have no problems with it, other people do. Nibblesnarf, I hate it, I get very frustrated with it, I get double carted by it somehow, it doesn't make any sense, but fuck it. And other people are like, it's just a Nibblesnarf, it's nothing. Or a better case in point, Volhazak. Most people are like, it's Volhazak, he's kind of fucking easy, he's really slow and predictable. Me, I'm like, dude, Volhazak, I don't understand his attacks, they're just all over the place, and he's so... he's both slow and fast. I don't understand it. It just confuses me so badly. Volhazak was the only monster in World that walled me. I failed the assigned quest for Volhazak. I failed that like 3 times. I just couldn't defeat him. I don't know why, he just did. And I still find him incredibly difficult. So taking on an Arc-Tempered Volhazak is like, no thank you. I don't want that. But Arc-Tempered monsters, I suppose that would be a topic for a different day. Got other things to talk about. Well, maybe we'll talk about them a little bit later. We'll see how much time has passed. GU, Generations Ultimate, on the Switch. Switcheroo. Haven't been playing it all that much, like I said. But I do have some stories that, from a couple months ago, that I forgot to tell because I didn't note them down like I should have noted them down. But hey, I noted them down now so I won't forget them. Hey! Yes, Paxo's Podcast Episode 3. I have notes now. So, I was wanting to go after a low-ranked Shigaru Magala because I needed some of its materials to upgrade one of my insect glaives. It's the Nagakuga insect glaive, to be specific. So I went online and I searched for a hub for Shigaru Magala, of which there was only one, and that is one of the downsides of GUs. There's so many monsters that it can be quite difficult to find a room for the monster that you're looking for. But either way, I joined the room. There's 2 other people in there. The guy puts on the Shigaru Magala quest. I ready up. The other guy readies up. I think there was a 4th person in the hub who got their own quest and was like, hey guys, let's do this quest, even though the hub says Shigaru Magala. And we're all ready to do Shigaru Magala. This guy's, hey guys, let's fight a Baroth. No, stop that. What are you doing? Shigaru Magala, let's go. Anyway, get into the quest. And one of the guys, unfortunately, lags out, so then it becomes 2 of us versus the Shigaru Magala. And I was kind of thinking to myself when I was fighting it, it's like, is this... Maybe it's just the hub version, because I haven't fought the hub version. I've only fought the village quest version. But so that's probably why it's dealing a little bit more damage to me, because I don't think this monster should be dealing this much damage to me. But hey, it's the hub. It's harder, I guess, because it's multiplayer as opposed to single player. So, you know, fair enough. Takes us about 20 minutes. We finally take it down. Feels really good. It was really high intensity. The host of the quest was a really good hammer player. He was, you know, popping off life powders and hitting the monster on the head and all that sort of stuff. Got a couple KOs. It was good times to be had. I carted once. It was kind of funny. From the last time that I shit-talked Shigaru, you know, I defeated Shigaru Magala on my first try without carting. I was like, yes, I'm the best. And then I get carted by Shigaru in the hub. I was like, I am not the best. But anyway, managed to defeat him after about 20-25 minutes. Start carving him. Oh, that's a scale plus. Huh. That's another scale plus. That's a claw plus. That's a wing. I'm pretty sure a wing is a high rank material. Or is that just the normal materials that you get from Shigaru? I'm not too sure. So anyway, complete the quest. We get all the materials, and I'm thinking to myself, did I just fight a high rank Shigaru by accident? Or was that the low rank, and it just gives high rank rewards for some reason, because it's like the bridge between low rank and high rank. Is that how that works? I don't know. So I go back to the forge to look at the materials that I need, and lo and behold, no, these are not the materials I need. I need the low rank. I did just fight a high rank Shigaru. I can't believe I didn't notice that when I selected the quest. I can't believe I didn't notice, oh, that's high rank. I can't believe I didn't notice, oh, that's high rank damage, or that must be high rank health, or something like that. It just didn't click in my brain. I just figured I was fighting another low rank Shigaru Magala, but lo and behold, high rank. And I didn't find out until we killed it. And I got back to the forge to realize I don't have the materials that I need to upgrade this weapon. Oh, good lord. But hey, I got some high rank Shigaru parts. It means I'm one step towards getting the high rank Shigaru armor set, which I do want because it looks really cool. And now I'm just thinking about Nasilla weapons because they look so good, but I don't want them because I don't like sleep weapons. God damn it, Nasilla. Why couldn't you have had better weapons? Oh well. I suppose that leads to hub etiquette because, you know, there was that one guy in the hub that was like, "Hey guys, I know you're doing Shigaru, but I'm gonna do this quest." No. The host picks the quest. If you run into someone's hub and you just immediately pick a different quest, it's not gonna go down well for you. If you want to do a specific quest, then host that quest yourself. Because if other people want to do that quest, they will join you. If they don't want to do that quest, and they want to be doing other quests, then it will state in their hub, most likely. Like, whenever I create a hub, I'm like, target, Baroth. That is what I'm doing. If you select something that isn't a Baroth, I'm not going to be best pleased. You know? Oh, but you'd be surprised at the amount of people who do that. Maybe now that Generations Ultimate has been around for a while now, a few months, and now that Nintendo Online has pushed some people away, like me, maybe it's a little bit better because there aren't quite as many people who are this rude, who are like, nah, we're doing this quest. I know you want to do that quest, but we're doing this quest. Nah. Like, why? It's like storming into someone's house. It's like, I live here now. You weren't invited. I mean, kind of a weird comparison, but where it's like the host created the hub with the intent to do a specific quest, and you're joining that hub with the intent of doing something else. It's their hub, they created it for this specific reason, and you're trying to turn it into a different reason, which could be wasting their time. Like I said, all you need to do is just go and create your own hub if you want to do a specific quest. Or you can ask. If you ask, then you're a lot more likely to get a positive response, a positive reception. Maybe someone will be like, yeah, sure, why not? But for the most part, people make hubs for a specific quest, you know? If I'm in a good mood, yeah, sure, we'll do that quest. If I'm not in a good mood, I'm kicking you out of the hub. And I can't tell you if I'm in a good mood or not. You'll just know if you end up getting kicked back to the main menu. So just don't risk it, you know? If you want to do a certain quest and there's no hubs, create it yourself, because someone will most likely join. That's what I've done with any quest that I've wanted to do, whether it be Baroth, Shigaru Magala, Nagakuga, what have you, whatever it is, I have created a hub for people to join, and they have joined wanting to do this quest, you know? There was one time, though, that, you know, I came on to Generations Ultimate wanting to do a specific quest, but then someone joined wanting help with farming like Quetzalcoatl or something, and I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? So we just farmed Quetzalcoatl like all night, and then other people joined and started doing their quests as well, and it was all over the place, but I was fine with it, because I was like, I'm in a good mood, I'll play some Monster Hunter, I'll play whatever the hell people want, so I changed my hub name to Helping People, or whatever that was, you know, willing to help, will help with quests sort of thing. So people were joining because they wanted help with a certain quest, but that... Note that I changed my hub title to will help with quests from target Baroth or whatever it was I was hunting. Right? Like, Every hub has a purpose, and you ignoring that purpose is so frustrating. If you want a hub to have a purpose, create it yourself, for God's sake, it's not hard. Oh, it's only manners, and it's only manners to ask. But it was quite funny. We ended up doing, I can't remember what it's called. It might be the Power Couple. It's a quest where you have to fight a Rathian and a Rathalos in Deserted Island. That quest is kind of interesting because they're both attacking you at the exact same time. Yeah. I mean, it's the same in Monster Hunter World, but you can't get away quite as easily in Generations Ultimate. You can't lure one away. You have to use a dung bomb in order to get one to leave. And we didn't have dung bombs on our first try, so one of them ended up double carting, and another guy ended up carting for the final time. It was just like, oh, this is a bit of a mess. It was just both of them targeting you at the same time. But it didn't matter that there were 3 of us and 2 of them. They still overwhelmed us like mad. But then someone else ended up wanting to do that quest, and I was like, I'm going to bring dung bombs this time. So whenever one of them... Well, really, all that happened is that the Rathian was there, the Rathalos appeared, I threw dung at the Rathalos went away, so then it was just us and the Rathian. And then by the time the Rathalos came back, the Rathian left, so then it was just us and the Rathalos. And then eventually, the Rathian came back, and then the Rathalos left. So then they were just rotating in and out, and it just made that quest so much easier. So, moral of the story, bring dung bombs. Especially in high rank. Oh my god, especially in high rank. When you have an invading monster and there's 2 of them both attacking you at the same time, it's like, I can't deal with this. I cannot deal with this. This is too much. So I suppose that's it for Monster Hunter. So, moving on to just other games that I've been playing in general, and it's been weird. I mean, I've wanted to go back to playing Rainbow Six Siege of all games. I mean, I haven't, thank God, because I would have lost my mind. But I felt like going back to Siege. It was weird. For reference, I have played a year, 2 years of Siege. I played since day 1. And I stuck until about, I think it's White Noise. And that's when I started to fall off a little bit. And then about midway through White Noise, I just cut Siege out of my life completely. And I haven't gone back to it since. And I don't want to, because it's an incredibly frustrating experience. There's a lot of nonsense bullshit. There's some rather frustrating hit reg and lag and just nonsense, you know. You can get, I mean, with a one-shot headshot and destruction, you can end up just getting randomly headshot through a wall or a barricade or something, and that's it. That's you out for the round, and you're restricted to cams for the next 4 minutes. Yay. You know, and then the next round you can spawn in and immediately get spawn peeked, and then, back to drones for 4 minutes. Wonderful. And yeah, just a lot of general nonsense, like I said, with lag, the occasional lag, some pretty terrible hit detection at times, and a lot of glitches. Always glitches. Every single title update introduces more glitches. It won't stop. I honestly think that they should reduce the season. They should reduce the number of seasons that they have from 4 to 3, just so they have more time to work on each of the seasons to make sure that they are not bug ridden, because people are paying money for this. This isn't Warframe where it's free to play. People are paying money for the game and the season pass. They are expecting a working product on launch. For fuck's sake. But I got the urge to go back and actually play Siege. I was like, you know, I really want to enjoy this game. I want to play with my friends again and get all tactical and all that sort of stuff. Get some strats going, do some silly stuff, you know. I think that's partially because I've played it for 2 years and I'm a little bit nostalgic for it, you know. I had some good times, I have some good memories, and I've been watching some old Siege videos, and I've just been like, you know what, I did have fun in that game. I had a lot of frustration, but I did have fun. And then I remember all the frustration, and I go, you know what? I might have had fun, but there was a lot of frustration in it, and I don't want to endure that ever again. There's so many WTF moments. Oh my lord, so many WTF moments. And like I said, with the one-shot headshot, you can go from 100 to 0 in a single frame. And if a single frame is all somebody needs to kill you, then, you know, being able to get turned on is real. And when you have the drop on someone and you riddle them with bullets and they spin around and get a lucky headshot on you, oh, that's tilting. It's so fucking tilting. Oh my god. And when people have just such nutty luck and such crazy strats and Pika's advantage and just all the other usual nonsense that comes from playing Siege, it just starts to get more and more frustrating. So yeah, that's Siege for you. I have not gone back to it yet, but I have been very tempted. I've actually been tempted to get the starter edition on PC because they made it so they made the grind a lot more reasonable when it comes to the starter edition. It used to be horrendous. It used to be an absolute scam, but now it's actually kind of reasonable. And as someone who wants to play it on the odd occasion but not invest too much into the game, I think the starter edition might be a decent bundle, because it's like, I'll play it on the odd occasion, but I don't want to put too much money into this because it's probably going to be a waste because I'm not going to play it all that much. But also I can save up the renown to eventually buy characters that I want to play, maybe like Valkyrie or something like that. And I don't need to get all of the operators. I can just stick with the ones that I have, because let's be honest, I imagine most players don't play with all the operators, so why even bother getting all of the operators if you're not going to play as all of them, you know? Just get a handful of them. That's just my 2 cents anyway. I was thinking of buying it. Now I'm not thinking of buying it. I might start thinking about it again. Who knows? Maybe I'll start playing Siege again. Maybe I'll make more Siege content at some point. I don't know. Probably not. But never say never, right? But then another game that I've been getting a returning interest in playing again has been Dota 2. Of all games, Dota 2. What? I mean, I was never very good at Dota. I was always really crap, and I never had anyone to play with, which certainly didn't help. But I don't know. I can't explain it. There's something about the strategy and the technical skill, the mechanical skill, and the game sense, and the predictions, and the team play, and all of that sort of stuff. There's just something about it that all comes together, and I'm like, man, Dota's cool. I like Dota. Of course, the advantage is that Dota's free, so I won't have to buy it again on PC to be able to play it, and I won't have to grind to unlock new characters because they're all free from the get-go. You get all of them. Want to play as Lich? Hey, you got Lich. Want to play as friggin' Sven? You got Sven, you know? All of them are unlocked, even the new ones. You know, you want to play as, what was the most recent one? I don't even know, I haven't played in so long. Like Dark Willow or something? Yeah, sure. Pangalia, weird armadillo dude? I don't know his name. I haven't played Dota in about 2 years. There's a bunch of new characters that I'm like, I've never seen you before. You're completely new. But also, what's even more confusing is they've removed some of the items. No longer does the poor man's shield exist. It's not a thing. It just doesn't exist. I'm like, what? Where did the poor man's shield go? I could have sworn that used to be a thing. It doesn't exist now. And now it seems like you buy a courier and then it just automatically upgrades at 2 minutes. It used to be that you'd have to buy the flying courier, you know? It's weird. It's all changed. It's all new and shiny and different. And they actually list the changes to the heroes now, which is awesome. I want more games to do this, to list the patch notes in a really readable manner, that it shows each of the heroes with like their icon, so you can easily see, okay, they've changed this hero in the last patch, what have they changed, and then it'll show their ability and be like, reduce this cooldown from this to this, or increase the mana cost from this to this, and you can go, okay, I understand what they've changed now. It's not like I'm going in blind again because I missed a couple of updates, you know. So that's something that I really appreciate, and I think that other games should do that more, you know. I mean, Warframe's got its patch notes, but it's a bit of a hell to read through. It's just a wall of text where you're like, did they change something I care about? I don't know, there's so much text to read here, it's ridiculous. And then Siege doesn't do that. If you want to know what the updates to Siege have been, you need to keep up to date with YouTubers, which I have been doing, you know. I do still enjoy watching Matimio, but man, it's just, if I didn't and I wanted to start playing Siege again, I'd be like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? I don't understand anything. They changed this character? What? Why does this gun now have less ammo or something like that? It's like, what? This doesn't make any sense. When did they change this? I didn't know about this because it doesn't tell you in game, because it's an external thing. It's this age of lots of information, but what happens when somebody leaves for a long period of time and comes back? They're completely clueless, completely lost. So it's just nice to have those patch notes, and in such a readable format as well, in game. Ugh, really appreciate that. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of Dota 2 as well, mostly just fails of the week from Dota Cinema, because that stuff is pretty funny. Dota is one of those interesting games though. If you don't play it yourself and you're not familiar with anything that's going on, it gets so difficult to watch anything Dota related. It's so hard to get into because there's so much information. It's just such a barrier to entry. And even as someone who enjoys watching Dota, if I watch like some pro players, pro teams playing against each other, and there's a big team fight and like 10 different spell effects go off and items and stuff, I get completely lost. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. So even as someone who plays Dota, even I get lost in the chaos sometimes, because it's just like, that's a lot of things on the screen. So it's one of those games where it's like, if you don't know what you're looking at, your mind is just gonna melt. It can be very difficult like that. But once you get into it, once you start looking into it and you start learning about the different heroes and their different abilities and some of the items and strategies and stuff like that, it starts to get really interesting. I think it's the most in-depth MOBA out there. I can't say for sure though, because I haven't played many MOBAs. I've played Smite a little bit of, and that's, I think, the most simplistic MOBA out there. And I've also played Paragon. God, I played a lot of Paragon. I really liked Paragon. I'm so mad that it got shut down. I'm so mad. But I'm not as mad as one of my friends, because he played it a lot more than me. He was pretty much the only reason that I kept playing Paragon, and he absolutely loved that game. So to find out that it was getting shut down, it was soul crushing more for him than it was for me. God damn. But yeah, I really enjoyed Paragon. So I do enjoy MOBAs, but I'm really bad at them. It's another one of those games where I want to be good at it, and I want to keep it as a roster. Like, I want to have that game as on my list of games that I'm good at. But this is not gonna happen. You know, it's like Rainbow Six Siege, Dota 2, Brawlhalla, you know, games that I want to be good at, but I will probably never be good at. Pokemon competitive as well. Why not? Throw it in there as well. Fuck it. Why not? Right? 'Cause that's another game that I want to kind of get into, but I don't have the fucking time. It's so much of a time dedication to actually get a team. Unless you play Showdown, which I haven't played Showdown. But it's such a dedication, Pokemon. If you actually want to play in-game, as opposed to showdown. It's ridiculous. Oh, I don't understand how people are supposed to get into competitive Pokemon. It's so ridiculous. Oh dear. But there you have it, right? But Dota, right? Good old Dota. Like I said, was never very good at it. I used to play the the noobs bracket, essentially, where there was only about 20, I think that might have been 50 actually. I think there was only 50 heroes to choose from, and they were all heroes that were deemed accessible to new players. So then your teams would pick from those. That was pretty much what I played, because it was very new player friendly, because everybody was a noob. And in that bracket, I actually managed to do relatively okay. But it's like, if I played anything outside of that, I'd get my ass handed to me, because I don't have much skill outside of a basic level of competency. And I mean basic. Like, I can do controls. Okay, I understand the items to buy and the level build to do on this hero and maybe a couple other heroes. I understand warding and counter warding and that sort of stuff, but I'm not very good at it. Very basic level of skill, you know. But that was me at my peak. Alright, I haven't played in 2 years, and playing Dota 2 is not like riding a bike. You know, it's a far more technical skill that my brain doesn't naturally work with, so I'm having to reacquire all of these skills. So I've just been playing the occasional bot match just so I can kind of get used to the controls and get used to some of the new items and builds, because talents weren't a thing back when I played. So, you know, trying to get back to the skill level that I was when I last played it, which was crap. But I'm somehow even worse. It's amazing, isn't it? Oh dear. Maybe one day I'll actually play a multiplayer match, who knows. Be good fun. And past that, well, it's been Warframe. Warframe. Pretty happy that I've managed to play Warframe for, what is it, 3 consecutive months now, essentially. I've managed to keep interested in Warframe because I've got so much to do on my PC account. It's been good. I finally got the dual stats, the electric dual stats from Barra, because he finally decided to come out with them. But he also had like the Volcar Wraith and the Prisma Veritux and a couple of Kavak cosmetics that I really wanted, but I didn't have the credits or the ducats to get all of it, so I could only get the 4 dual stats, and then I had to leave everything else, which really sucked. I really wanted the Prisma Veritux because it would have made Arcwing a hell of a lot more manageable and, you know, more mastery, but I suppose we'll wait and see when it comes to that sort of stuff. Very frustrating. Lots of stuff that I need from Barra. I know a lot of people are like, Barra's got crap stuff, I don't need anything from Barra, but I'm like, I do. I need all of the things. I'm only Mastery 15 on PC. But, oh, that's weird. That is really weird that I'm getting closer to being Mastery 17, which is the Mastery rank of my PS4 account. Of which my PS4 account has about 1,000 hours played on it. It's nutty. 1,000 hours on my PS4 account. Oh my god. Anyway, lots of things that I don't have. Trying to farm up some prime stuff. I'm actually starting to try and farm prime frames. I'm starting to value them a little bit more because I'm thinking, okay, let's not invest too much into regular frames. Let's instead get the regular frames for the mastery, and then we just get the primes as well. I'm going to need more Warframe slots at some point, but then I also need like more Arcwing slots and more Sentinel slots, and I'll probably need more weapon slots, and I'll almost certainly need more Riven slots because I've been getting so many Rivens. It's getting a little bit out of hand. I've almost got the current cap of 15, so I might need to buy some more slots. I need to start trading more though, but I don't really have a lot of good stuff to trade. It's like, no, I need that, and I need that as well. But you can trade that for a lot of platinum. Yes, but I need that. You don't understand. I need that. I got a Kubro. I just realised, time of recording, I've got a Kubro incubating. It's probably done now. Well, how about that? Thanks, podcast, reminding me of the important stuff. Anyway, I don't know if I mentioned I finally got a Kavat. That was 2 months ago, I think. That I might have talked about that in the last episode. God, so many things. Part of a clan now, that's a very big thing. Finally got access to Dragon Keys, so I managed to get a couple of corrupted mods. I got, Vile Acceleration, that's a good one. That's a very good one. And then I got like a plus magazine and minus reload, something like that. No, it was depleted magazine. It was less magazine and more reload. It was the mod that was released after the Vectis Prime came out, because people wanted it for the Vectis Prime. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, look at me. Don't I remember stuff? Back in my day. Oh, crap. I've done a lot of runs for Necros, though, and I still don't have the fucking Neuroptics. Holy shit. It's so frustrating. It's like trying to farm Mesa all over again, but then there's also Nidus and Harrow that I need to farm, and I don't want to do Defection. Oh, you can't make me. And Korra, and I've still got Jorda's Precept, Limbo Theorem, and Hidden Messages to do. I've got so much fucking stuff to do, and now that I'm a part of Clan, I can get a lot of cool stuff. I can get the Lens, I can get Volt and Banshee and Wukong, Neja, Zephyr. I can get some pretty cool, darn cool stuff. Sweet. Nice. Very happy with that. It just sort of came out of the blue. Someone was like, or one of the warlords, I suppose, was like, hey, you're like Mastery 15 and you're not part of a clan. You wanna like join our clan? I'm like, hell yeah. Why not? Darkstar Gladiators is the name of the clan, just in case you're interested. I don't know if they're still recruiting or anything like that. I'm really not savvy to the details of it. I'm basically a nobody in the clan. I'm Scrub Lord Master. That's my rank. Not really, it's like Initiate, New Recruit or something like that. But it's all good. Got lots of stuff to acquire. More credit sinks. Always credit sinks. Never enough credit sinks in Warframe. And I refuse to go do, what's it called? Index, because I find it a bit cheesy and a bit boring. So, you know, I'm always going to be short a few credits, which is great fun. Yay. I'm also really close to maxing out all of my Syndicate's ranks. The Arbiters only have one more rank up to do, and then that's it. I'm maxed out on all of my ranks. Still need to get a lot of rep though, because there's a lot of items that I don't have, which is fun! Yay! Lots of items to acquire. All of the items to acquire. God, it makes Fortuna look like... It just makes it look insignificant. It's like, I don't need Fortuna. What do you need Fortuna for? Oh, right. You've already got everything. Lucky you. I don't. Fortuna, by the way, it's said to release on the first week of November. I find it hard that it's going to release on like the 1st or the 2nd of November, because I think that's like a Thursday or a Friday. So it's more like the 2nd week, and you can't spell delay without DE. It's probably going to release mid-November, and even when it does release, it is going to be riddled with bugs. You know this. As a Warframe player, you know that it's going to be riddled with bugs. Let other people do the QA testing for you, and then go to Fortuna a month or two after the fact, because you know it's going to be bug riddled. You know they're going to use the players as QA because they always do. That's how their QA works, because QA costs money and players will do that for free and in a much larger sample size. Just from a business standpoint, it makes so much more sense, because at the end of the day, you're just going to make a few people angry, but they'll keep playing because they love your game. So, why not? Let other people do the QA for you, come back to it in a few months, and you'll have so much content that actually works to be able to play. And maybe there'll be more content a couple months after Fortuna, you never know. That's what I'm going to be doing anyway, but I do have the luxury of, I've got a lot of other stuff to do other than Fortuna. I've still got plain stuff to do. I've only just sought out the quills, So I've been trying to rank them up, but then I've got other stuff to do as well. It's ridiculous. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. So it's like, if you're ever short of things to do in Warframe, I mean, you could always start a new account, because there's always stuff to do like that. There will always be more things to do, and it can get a bit overwhelming, but you chip away at it one day at a time, right? Doing the sorties on the odd occasion, because everything is still useful to me in sorties. Everything. There isn't a single thing that isn't useful to me that comes out of sorties. Like Rivens. More specifically, Rivens that I want, because I have a weird taste in weapons, in that if they're underused or they're maybe a little bit unpopular, like they're non-meta, I generally really like them. I like to make them viable. I like to take a weapon that most people are like, it's kind of trash, and then I go, I'm going to make it good. Case in point, the Gorgon Wraith, right? Gorgon Wraith is a bit of a crap weapon. It's got like 10% status chance and only like 15% status chance and 10% crit chance. It's pretty bad. You kind of need a Riven to make it good, which lucky, I got a Gorgon Riven. So it's like, yes, got a Riven for my favourite weapon, even though the weapon itself is a bit crap. So that's been fun, trying to get a good Riven out of it. I got a Fire Rate Riven, which was nice, but I paired it with Shred because I wanted Punch Through and I wasn't prepared to put on Metal Auger, because fuck how expensive that mod is. Holy shit. So I got a stupid amount of fire rate, and even though the Riven gave me a faster reload, it was too small of a magazine, too high of a fire rate, too long of a reload. I did not appreciate it at all. I can't remember some of the other Rivens I got. I got one that was like plus impact, which was crap. It barely increased my damage output whatsoever, and I just couldn't really find a mod to remove for it that would make the Gorgon Wraith better, But I finally ended up on a Riven for the Gorgon Wraith, which gave me +3 punch through, which is really nice. It means I can take off Shred, which means lower fire rate, slightly more DPS, or not damage per second, but it means I'm not wasting ammo as much, if that makes sense. The punch through allows you to hit multiple enemies at the same time, and the lower fire rate means you can control fire a lot better. So overall, a lot more ammo efficiency. But then it also gave me like 170-ish, 160, 170-ish crit chance. I thought you said it has like 10% crit chance. Why on planet Earth would you want to do that? Is it 100? I thought is it 10% crit chance? I think it's like 15 actually. It's my favorite weapon and I don't fucking know its stats. I'm so dumb. It doesn't have great crit chance. It has less than 20% crit chance. So it's like, why would 160 something % crit chance? Why would that be good? Well, because you can stack the crit chance from a Riven with the crit chance from Point Strike. And I put on Vital Sense as well, which has given me 62% 50% crit chance with a 4.2 times crit multiplier, and when I have 150% multi-shot with a 5% chance to enhance crits, that's pretty good. Especially with about 60% status chance, but that's only with one dual stat. I need to put the second one in and see what the final number is. I think it'll be about 80% status chance. That's really good. Like, that turns the Gorgon Wraith from an okay status weapon into a pretty competent status crit hybrid weapon. And I am a big fan of it. Maybe I'll make a video on it at some point, just to be like, yeah, this is actually a pretty decent weapon with this very particular Riven that nobody is ever going to get, because Rivens. It's my Riven, but that's the beauty of Rivens, isn't it? You know, that Riven is yours. You end up making it the way that you want it to. If you want a Riven that just gives you a bajillion magazine capacity and like negative fire rate, fucking go for it. Why the hell not, right? Because some of the weapons want certain things. Or how can I put this in a good way? There are some weapons that require Rivens more or less to sort out its utility problems. Hystrix, for example, has terrible magazine capacity and terrible reload. If you manage to get a Riven that solved both of those problems, you could focus so much more on damage with those two things out of the way. Or you could stack it with primed slip magazine and get an even bigger magazine. That would be quite funny. And then stack it with Mace's passive that reloads pistols faster. That would be quite funny. But hey, what do I know, right? I like terrible weapons, so my opinion shouldn't be trusted. But, you know, at the end of the day, you play how you want to play, and Rivens just enable that a little bit better. They enable certain weapons to get a lot stronger. It allows certain weapons to become viable, like my Gorgon Wraith. It's now pretty darn viable, even against level 100s. It's not the fastest killer in the world, but it's good enough. You know, in comparison to the Bratton Prime, it's competent, which is surprising, but because the Bratton Prime is like the baseline for status weapons, you know? But anyway, I think that's enough rambling for this month. Again, if you have a topic that you want me to talk about in next month's podcast, feel free to leave it in the comments below. So thank you very much for watching, or listening, I should say. This is a podcast. There is no visuals. There's barely any video. It's just a silly little graphic. Yeah. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next time.